The emergency lights in the Galactic Council chamber turned red for the first time in 300 years. Representatives from 12 different alien species sat in their designated areas, their various forms of faces showing the same emotion: fear. At the center of the massive circular room, High Chancellor Vex stood with his forearms raised, demanding silence. 7 fleets, he announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. 7 complete military fleets have vanished near the Sol system. No survivors, no debris, no distress signals that made any sense. They simply disappeared. Commander Thelvas of the Etherian Empire rose from his seat. His tall, blue-skinned form towered over most others in the room. My patrol fleet was the first to vanish 6 months ago. We recovered their final transmission 3 days later. It was corrupted, but our technicians managed to extract some words. Impossible speed. Weapons unknown. And they were waiting for us. A murmur of concern rippled through the chamber. The Hive Collective's representative, a being that looked like a cluster of floating crystals, spoke next. Our scouting armada consisted of 300 vessels. They approached the 3rd planet of the Sol system for standard resource evaluation. Within 1 hour, all signals ceased. We sent a recovery team. They found nothing, not even molecular dust. This is impossible, said Trademaster Velcon, his scales rattling with agitation. The Sol system was catalogued 40 standard years ago. The dominant species on the 3rd planet, the humans, were primitive. They had barely left their own planet. Chemical rockets, basic satellites. They were fighting wars with metal bullets and explosive devices. How could they destroy our ships? Elder Sylvan of the Luminari, a peaceful species known for their wisdom, spoke softly. Perhaps they were not as primitive as we believed. Perhaps we saw only what they wanted us to see. Ridiculous, Commander Thelvas snapped. We have observers throughout that region of space. We would have detected any significant technological advancement. High Chancellor Vex pulled up a holographic display showing the Sol system, a small yellow star with 8 planets orbiting it. The 3rd planet, Earth, glowed with a red marker. Every fleet that approached this system had one thing in common. They all went with hostile intentions. The 1st fleet planned to establish a mining colony. The 2nd wanted to test their new weapons. The 3rd was a pirate group looking for slaves. All of them vanished within 5 astronomical units of Earth. You think the humans are defending themselves? Asked Velcon, his tone skeptical. I think we need to find out what happened, Vex replied. He turned to a shadowy corner of the chamber. Agent Velthir, I am assigning you to investigate. Take Analyst Kryn with you. Use every stealth technology we have. Find out what is happening near Earth, but do not engage. Observe only. A figure stepped from the shadows. Agent Velthir was a shade, a species known for their intelligence-gathering abilities. His form seemed to absorb light itself. When do we leave? Immediately. Far below the surface of Earth, buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains in North America, Captain Doyen Kim stood in the command center of the United Earth Defense Force. The room was filled with screens showing various star maps, sensor readings, and tactical displays. Officers moved efficiently between stations, their training evident in every action. Captain, called out Lieutenant Minho Lee from the tactical station. We have another one. Long-range sensors detected a fleet entering the outer solar system. Trajectory suggests they are heading toward Earth. Doyen walked over to Minho's station and studied the display. 27 ships, medium-sized cruisers by the classification system they had developed. Fleet composition? Appears to be a military patrol, scanning for weapon signatures now. Minho's fingers danced across the holographic controls. Confirmed. Energy weapons, missile systems, and some kind of boarding equipment. This is not a diplomatic mission. Intentions? Unknown. They have not tried to communicate. They are simply approaching on a direct course. Doyen allowed himself a small smile. Then we treat them like all the others. Alert Dr. Hannah Park. Tell her we will need the ghost ships ready within the hour. Yes, sir. Across the command center in the research wing, Dr. Hannah Park was already preparing. She stood in front of a massive window overlooking a hidden hangar bay. Inside, 12 sleek ships floated in their docking cradles. They did not look like any human spacecraft the world knew about. They were smooth, seamless, and seemed to shimmer even in the dim light. Her assistant, Dr. Soman Kang, approached with a data pad. The power cores are charged. All systems show green. We can launch whenever Captain Doyen gives the order. Hana nodded, her eyes never leaving the ships. 30 years ago, my mentor Dr. Jaewon Choi found a damaged alien probe in the mountains outside Seoul. Instead of reporting it to the government, he contacted a small group of scientists he trusted. Together, they studied it in secret. I have heard this story before, Soman said gently. You tell it every time we prepare for contact. Because I never want us to forget why we do this, Hana replied. That probe taught us that we are not alone in the universe. It also taught us that the universe is dangerous. The databanks in that probe showed us a galaxy filled with empires, wars, slavery, and conquest. Species that reached space travel were either absorbed into these empires or destroyed. There was no third option. So we created one. Yes. Project Taeguk. We reverse-engineered that probe's technology. We learned how to build faster-than-light engines. We discovered zero-point energy. We developed quantum computers that could process information faster than anything the aliens had. And we learned to hide it all. Soman looked at the ships with pride. While the world thinks we are still launching chemical rockets and building space stations, we have a fleet that can defend the entire solar system. Defense is only part of it, Hana said. Every alien fleet that has approached Earth with hostile intent has taught us something new. We capture their communications, study their weapons, analyze their tactics. Each attack makes us stronger. An alarm chimed softly. Hana tapped her communication device. Dr. Park here. Captain Doyen's voice came through clearly. Doctor, we have incoming hostiles. 27 ships. Can you have the interceptors ready in 30 minutes? We are ready now, Captain. Excellent. Lieutenant Unabag's team will pilot. Standard protocol, disable first, destroy only if necessary. We want prisoners for questioning. Understood. Launching in 5 minutes. Hana turned to Soman. Inform the pilots. This is a Class C encounter. Hostile fleet standard technology, medium threat level. As Soman hurried away, Hana remained at the window. She thought about how the world had changed in 30 years. How a small group of Korean scientists had uncovered the truth about the galaxy. How that truth had led to the formation of a secret international program that brought together the brightest minds from every nation. The public knew nothing. They still believed humanity was alone. They still thought space travel was slow and difficult. They had no idea that human ships regularly patrolled the solar system, that bases existed on the Moon, Mars, and several asteroid installations, or that an intelligence network monitored every alien transmission within 100 light-years of Earth. It was better this way. The galaxy thought humans were primitive. They thought Earth was an easy target, and that mistake was humanity's greatest advantage. In the hangar bay, Lieutenant Unabag climbed into her cockpit. She ran through her pre-flight checks with practiced ease. The neural interface connected to her mind, and suddenly she could feel the ship as if it were her own body. The other 11 pilots in her squadron completed their checks and reported ready. Ghost Squadron, this is command. Doyen's voice came through their headsets. You are authorized to launch. Engage the hostiles at grid coordinates Delta 7. Remember, we are not murderers. We are defenders. Give them a chance to surrender. Understood, Command, Una replied. Ghost Squadron launching now. The 12 ships lifted smoothly from their cradles and moved toward the massive hangar doors. The doors opened, revealing a tunnel that led to the surface, camouflaged by holographic projections that made it appear as nothing more than a mountain cliff. The ships accelerated through the tunnel and burst into the sky. Within seconds, they had left Earth's atmosphere and were racing toward the approaching alien fleet. Una switched to squadron frequency. All ships maintain stealth mode until we reach engagement range. Let them think they are alone. Copy that, Ghost Leader, came the responses from her pilots. As they flew through the darkness of space, Una thought about how strange her life had become. 5 years ago, she had been a fighter pilot in the South Korean Air Force, flying jets that most countries considered advanced. Then she had been recruited into a program she did not know existed. The training had been intense, the technology overwhelming, and the truth about humanity's place in the galaxy terrifying. But she had adapted. Humans always adapted. That was their strength. The alien fleet appeared on her sensors, still millions of kilometers away but approaching fast. They had no idea what was waiting for them. They thought they were hunting primitives. They were wrong. Ghost Squadron, Una said calmly. Prepare to engage. Agent Velther's stealth ship drifted silently through the outer reaches of the Sol system. The vessel was invisible to almost every known sensor technology, its surface absorbing rather than reflecting radiation of any kind. Beside him, analyst Kryn studied the data streaming across multiple displays. "This system is more active than our records indicate," Kryn said, his three eyes narrowing in confusion. "I am detecting quantum entanglement signatures throughout the entire solar system. The humans should not have that technology." "What else?" Velthir asked. "Fusion reactors on the fourth planet, Mars. Mining operations in the asteroid belt using gravitic manipulators. And there are structures on their moon that were not in our survey data from 40 years ago." Velthir felt a chill run through his form. "Show me the communications traffic." Kryn pulled up another display. Encrypted quantum channels. Hundreds of them. All coordinated through a central network. The encryption is sophisticated, possibly more advanced than our own. "I cannot break it, then we observe," Velthir decided. "Maintain distance. Record everything." Before Kryn could respond, alarms began flashing across their console. "Multiple contacts," he said urgently. "A fleet just entered the system. 27 vessels. They are broadcasting on standard Racnor frequencies." "Pirates," Velthir muttered. "The Racnor were known throughout the galaxy as ruthless raiders who ignored council laws." "Are they heading toward Earth?" "Affirmative. They are transmitting to each other. Let me translate." Kryn listened for a moment, then his scales turned pale. "They plan to raid the planet. They believe the humans are defenseless. They intend to take slaves and resources. Fools. They should have heard the warnings. It appears they did not care." Velthir adjusted their position to maintain observation distance. "Then we will see what happened to the other fleets." The Racnor fleet accelerated toward Earth, their commander broadcasting threats and demands that no one answered. They expected an easy victory. They expected frightened primitives begging for mercy. They were very wrong. Lieutenant Unibayek's Ghost Squadron maintained their stealth approach. The alien ships appeared on her tactical display as red markers, completely unaware of the 12 human vessels closing in on their position. "Ghost 2, scan their power systems," Una ordered. "Scanning now, leader," replied her wingman, Lieutenant Jiho Han. "Standard fusion cores, predictable output patterns. Shield generators are Model 773 common design. Weapon systems appear to be particle beams and chemical missiles. Any surprises?" "Negative. These are standard pirate vessels. Nothing we have not seen before." Una opened the command channel. "Captain Doyon, we are in position. The hostiles are using outdated technology. Recommend standard disable and capture protocol." Doyon's voice came back immediately. "Approved, Ghost Leader. Try to take their command ship intact if possible. Dr. Park wants to study their navigation data." "Understood. Ghost Squadron. Activate Phase 1. At her command, all 12 human ships simultaneously dropped their stealth mode and appeared directly in front of the Racnor fleet. The effect was exactly as intended. Complete shock. On the Racnor flagship, Commander Rack stared at his screens in disbelief. "Where did they come from? How did they—" His tactical officer interrupted. "Sir, their ships are powering up some kind of weapon system. I have never seen these energy signatures before." "Fire on them," Rax ordered. "All ships open fire." The Racnor fleet unleashed their weapons. Particle beams and missiles streaked through space toward the human ships. Una watched calmly as her ship's defensive systems activated. A shimmering field appeared around each human vessel, and the alien weapons simply dissipated against it. Their energy absorbed and redirected harmlessly. "Their weapons are ineffective," Jiho reported, his tone almost bored. "Shield systems holding at 98% capacity. Good. Now show them what real technology looks like. Target their power systems. Disable only." The human ships moved with impossible precision. They did not fly like normal spacecraft. They phased in and out of normal space, appearing in multiple locations simultaneously, making it impossible for the Racnor computers to track them. Their weapons fired, not explosive missiles or energy beams, but focused electromagnetic pulses that shut down alien systems without destroying the ships. Within 3 minutes, half the Racnor fleet was drifting powerlessly in space, their crews trapped inside vessels that had suddenly become nothing more than metal tombs with limited life. Support Commander Rax watched in horror as his mighty fleet was systematically disabled by only 12 enemy ships. "This is impossible," he whispered. "They are primitives. They should not have this power." His communication officer looked up with wide eyes. "Sir, we are receiving a transmission." It is coming from one of the human ships. Put it on screen. The display flickered and a human woman appeared. She wore a military uniform and had a calm, almost cold expression on her face. When she spoke, her words were translated automatically by their systems. Attention, Rachnor Fleet. I am Lieutenant Una Bayek of the United Earth Defense Force. You have entered sovereign human space with hostile intent. Your weapons are useless against us. Your ships are now disabled. You have one chance to surrender peacefully. If you refuse, we will destroy you. You have 30 seconds to decide. Rax felt his pride warring with his survival instinct. He had never surrendered in his life, but he had also never faced an enemy like this. He looked at his tactical officer. Can we fight? No, sir. Our weapons cannot penetrate their shields. Our engines are already damaged. If we continue, we will all die. Rax closed his eyes. Then he opened the communication channel. We surrender. Watching from a distance, Agent Velthir and Kryn sat in stunned silence. They had recorded everything. The speed of the human ships, the sophistication of their technology, the clinical efficiency with which they had disabled an entire pirate fleet. By the Council, Kryn whispered. Those ships moved through space like nothing I have ever seen. They phased through dimensions. They appeared in multiple locations. How is this possible? Velthir was already composing his report in his mind. The humans have been lying to us. For 40 years they allowed us to believe they were primitive while they built this. He gestured to the screens showing the human ships now herding the disabled Rachnor vessels toward Earth's moon. They are not a Type 0 civilization. They may be more advanced than most of the Council species. What do? We continue to observe, and we hope they have not detected us. But even as Velthir spoke those words, a new contact appeared on their sensors. A single human ship, smaller than the others, approaching their position directly. Impossible, Kryn said. We are in full stealth mode. They should not be able to see us. Apparently they can. Velthir prepared himself. They are hailing us. The transmission came through and another human appeared on their screen. This one was male, older, with gray hair and a kind but knowing expression. He spoke in perfect shade language, which should have been impossible. Agent Velthir of the Galactic Council. I am Admiral Sujin Kwan of Earth's Solar Defense Fleet. We have been aware of your presence since you entered our system. We mean you no harm. We know you are here to investigate the disappearances. We would like to invite you to a meeting where we can explain everything. Velthir exchanged a glance with Kryn. They were discovered. They were probably in targeting range of weapons they could not defend against. And the human was offering to talk rather than attack. How did you know we were here? Velthir asked. Admiral Sujin smiled slightly. Agent Velthir, we have been monitoring all Council communications for 30 years. We knew you would send investigators eventually. We have been waiting for you. 30 years? Yes. We learned a great deal from a probe that crashed on our planet 3 decades ago. It taught us about the galaxy. It taught us about the Council. It taught us that we needed to be ready for what was out there. The Admiral's expression became more serious. You came to discover what happened to the missing fleets. We can tell you, but first you must understand something important. We are not the primitives you believe us to be. We have never been as weak as we appeared, and we will never allow our world to be conquered or controlled by others. Kryn spoke up nervously. You disabled a fleet of 27 ships in less than 5 minutes. That was a small demonstration. We have been preparing for 30 years. Every fleet that approached Earth with hostile intent taught us something new. We studied their technology. We learned their weaknesses. We adapted and improved. Admiral Sujin leaned forward. Now, Agent Velthir, will you accept our invitation? We would prefer to make you an ally rather than an enemy. Velthir thought about his options. He could refuse and try to escape, though he doubted their stealth ship could outrun the human vessels. He could report back to the Council immediately, though he suspected the humans would not allow him to leave if they truly wanted to keep their secrets. Or he could accept the invitation and learn the truth. I accept, Velthir said, but know that the Council will notice if we do not return. We have no intention of harming you, Admiral Sujin assured him. Follow the coordinates we are sending to your ship. We will meet at our lunar base. There, you will meet the people who made all of this possible, and you will understand. The lunar base appeared on Velthir's screens like something from a dream. Built into the side of a massive crater, the structure was enormous and clearly designed for both military and research purposes. Docking bays lined the crater walls, and he could see dozens of human ships coming and going. This was not a simple outpost. This was a full military installation. They built all of this in secret, Kryn said quietly. While the galaxy watched them struggle with primitive rockets, they were constructing bases on their moon. Velthir guided their ship into the designated docking bay. As they landed, he saw human personnel moving about in what appeared to be artificial gravity environments. The technology required for that was expensive and difficult. Yet, here it was, implemented casually throughout the base. 2 humans in military uniforms waited for them at the airlock. Velthir and Kryn exited their ship cautiously. The atmosphere was breathable for them, another sign of the humans' technological sophistication. Agent Velthir, Analyst Kryn, one of the humans said, bowing slightly in greeting. I am Ambassador Taiyang Xin. On behalf of Earth, welcome to Luna Base. Please follow me. Admiral Sujin and our scientific team are waiting. They walked through corridors that were clean, efficient, and filled with technology that made Velthir's trained eye take notice. Holographic displays showed tactical information. Automated systems managed base operations. Human personnel moved with discipline and purpose. You seem surprised, Taiyang observed. I am reconsidering everything we thought we knew about humanity, Velthir admitted. Taiyang smiled. That is exactly what we hoped for. They entered a large conference room where several humans waited. Admiral Sujin stood at the head of the table. Beside him sat a woman in a white lab coat and a younger man in a military uniform. Others stood around the room's perimeter. Agent Velthir, thank you for accepting our invitation, Admiral Sujin said. Please sit. We have much to discuss. Allow me to introduce Dr. Hana Park, our chief scientist, and Captain Doyen Kim, our tactical commander. The others are specialists in various fields. Velthir and Kryn took seats at the table. The room fell silent, and Velthir realized everyone was waiting for him to speak first. I came to investigate the disappearance of 7 military fleets, Velthir said directly. Now I have witnessed your capabilities firsthand. I need answers to take back to the Galactic Council. Starting with the most important question, why did you hide your true technological level? Dr. Hana Park leaned forward. 30 years ago, an alien probe crashed in the mountains outside Seoul, South Korea. The probe was damaged but functional. A small group of scientists led by my mentor, Dr. Jaewon Choi, recovered it before any government could claim it. They studied it in secret for 3 months. She pulled up a holographic display showing the probe. It was small, no larger than a car, but covered in symbols and technology. This probe changed everything, Hana continued. It contained a data bank with information about the galaxy. We learned about the Galactic Council. We learned about the various empires and species. We learned about the laws governing first contact. And we learned something that terrified us. What did you learn? Kryn asked. That new species reaching space travel face only 2 fates, conquest or absorption. Species are either taken over by aggressive empires or forced to join the council as junior members with no real power. They are watched, controlled, and treated as children for centuries. Hana's expression hardened. We decided that Earth would not accept either fate. Captain Doyen spoke up. My ancestors survived foreign invasions by appearing weaker than they were. They learned that being underestimated is sometimes the greatest advantage. We applied that lesson on a galactic scale. Admiral Sujin added, we reverse-engineered the probe's technology. It took years, but we succeeded. We learned how to build faster-than-light engines. We discovered zero-point energy. We developed quantum computers that exceeded anything in the probe's database. And most importantly, we learned to shield all of this from observation. While the galaxy watched us launch chemical rockets into low orbit, we were secretly building ships capable of faster-than-light travel, Taiyang explained. While you saw us as primitives fighting each other with conventional weapons, we were establishing bases throughout our solar system. While you thought we were alone and vulnerable, we were building a defense network that could protect our entire world. Velthir processed this information. The 7 fleets that disappeared, what happened to them? They came with hostile intent, Captain Doyen said flatly. The first fleet came to establish a mining colony on Earth without our consent. The second wanted to test new weapons on our cities. The third was slavers, pirates looking for easy prey. His eyes grew cold. We gave each of them warnings. Most ignored those warnings. They all learned the same lesson. We captured some ships, destroyed others, Admiral Sujin said. Every engagement taught us something new about alien technology. We studied your weapons, your tactics, your weaknesses. Each attack made us stronger. Dr. Hana activated another display showing recordings of various engagements. Veltir watched in shock as human ships disabled, captured, or destroyed alien vessels with frightening efficiency. The humans fought with precision and ruthlessness, showing no mercy to those who threatened their world. You have been monitoring Council communications, Veltir stated. For how long? 30 years, Taeyang confirmed. We intercepted and decoded transmissions from dozens of species. We know about Council politics. We know about the various empires and their conflicts. We know which species are peaceful and which are aggressive. We have studied you while you believed you were studying us. Kryn looked overwhelmed. This level of deception. The Council will see this as a threat. We know, Admiral Sujin said. That is why we invited you here. We want to make our position clear before there are any misunderstandings. He stood and walked to a large window overlooking the lunar surface. Beyond it, Earth hung in the black sky like a blue jewel. That is our world. Our home. Every human on that planet has the right to live free from alien conquest, alien control, or alien observation. We did not ask to be catalogued. We did not ask to be judged by your standards. And we will not accept being treated as children who need guidance from older, supposedly wiser species. Then what do you want? Veltir asked. Recognition, Taeyang said simply. We want the Council to recognize Earth as a sovereign, independent state. We want our solar system declared as sovereign territory, where no military vessels are permitted without explicit permission. We want the right to defend ourselves without being labeled as aggressive. And we want to establish diplomatic and trade relationships with species who approach us with respect. In return, Dr. Hana added, we are willing to share certain technologies that could benefit peaceful civilizations, medical advances, energy systems, defensive technologies that could help protect smaller species from aggressive empires. Veltir felt his mind racing. What these humans were proposing was unprecedented. A new species demanding to be treated as equals, refusing to follow the established order, and having the military power to back up their demands. The Council will never agree to this, he said. The major empires will see you as a threat. They will demand you submit to their authority. Then they will learn what happens when they make demands of Earth, Captain Doyen said quietly. We have been preparing for 30 years. We are ready for war if war comes. But we would prefer peace. Ambassador Taeyang pulled out a data crystal and placed it on the table in front of Veltir. This contains recordings of every engagement between human forces and alien aggressors. It includes technical data on our defensive capabilities. It also includes evidence of Council members violating first contact protocols, evidence of pirate organizations operating in Council space, and evidence of several species planning raids on Earth. You are giving us leverage against us? Kryn asked, confused. We are showing you that we have nothing to hide, Taeyang replied. We are also demonstrating that we have information many Council members would prefer to keep secret. Take this to your Council. Let them see what Earth is capable of. Let them understand that we are not prey. We are not children. We are a sovereign species with the power to defend our interests. Veltir picked up the crystal slowly. And if the Council decides to attack anyway? Dr. Hana smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Then the galaxy will learn why humans have survived every challenge we have faced for 200,000 years. We adapt, we innovate, we survive, and we never ever give up. 7 fleets have already learned that lesson, Captain Doyen added. We would prefer not to teach it to more. But we will if we must. Admiral Sujin returned to his seat. Agent Veltir, we know this is overwhelming. We know the Council will struggle to accept what we are telling them. But understand this. Earth is not negotiating from weakness. We are offering the Council a choice. They can work with us as equals, or they can try to force us to submit. One path leads to mutual benefit, the other leads to war. A war we will win, Captain Doyen said with absolute certainty. Not because we are stronger than every species in the galaxy, but because we have something most of them lack, the absolute determination to remain free at any cost. Velthir looked at each human face in the room. The Galactic Council chamber erupted in chaos the moment Agent Velthir finished his presentation. Representatives from dozens of species were shouting at each other, at Velthir, at the holographic displays showing recordings of human military capabilities. High Chancellor Vex struck his staff against the floor repeatedly, trying to restore order. "This is impossible," Commander Thelvas of the Etherian Empire roared. "These humans deceived us for 40 years. They are dangerous, untrustworthy, and must be dealt with immediately." "Dealt with how?" Elder Silwan of the Luminari asked calmly. "Did you watch the same recordings I did? They disabled an entire pirate fleet in minutes. 7 military fleets vanished near their world. What makes you think we can simply deal with them?" Trademaster Velkon spoke up. "Perhaps we should consider their offer. They have technologies we do not understand. Medical advances, energy systems, defensive capabilities that could revolutionize warfare. There is profit to be made here." "Profit?" Thelvas turned on him angrily. "You want to reward their deception? They made fools of the entire council." "No," Velthir interjected firmly. "They protected themselves from a galaxy that has shown itself to be hostile to new species. Look at the evidence I brought back. Half the fleets that approached Earth went there to conquer, enslave, or exploit. The humans defended themselves against aggressors. By our own laws, they had that right. The Hive Collective's representative pulsed with agitation. They hid their advancement. They pretended to be primitive. This violates the principles of honest first contact." "Does it?" Elder Silwan asked. "Or does it simply show intelligence? Perhaps we should ask ourselves why a new species felt the need to hide from us in the first place. What does that say about the galaxy we have created?" High Chancellor Vex finally managed to restore some order. "Enough. We must decide on a unified response." The humans have made their position clear. They want to be recognized as a sovereign, independent state. They refuse to join the Council as a junior member. They demand their solar system be declared off-limits to military vessels, and they threaten war if we refuse. "Then we give them war," War Chancellor Drexus of the Etherian Empire declared, standing to his full height. "I will personally lead a fleet to teach these primitives their place. They may have defeated pirates and small patrol groups, but they have never faced the full might of an empire." "You would risk open war based on pride?" Velkon challenged. "I would eliminate a threat before it grows stronger," Drexus countered. "Every day we wait, they study us. They learn our weaknesses. They build more weapons. If we do not act now, in 10 years they may be unstoppable." The chamber divided into 3 clear groups. The Hawks, led by Drexus, demanded military action. The Doves, led by Elder Silwan, argued for diplomatic recognition. The Pragmatists, led by Velkon, saw economic opportunity and wanted to negotiate trade agreements. For 3 days, the council debated. Arguments grew heated. Alliances shifted. Species threatened to withdraw from the council if their positions were not heard. It was the greatest crisis the council had faced in centuries. On the 4th day, something unexpected happened. A human ship appeared in orbit of Velros Prime, the neutral world where the council met. The ship simply materialized without using any known jump gate or transit lane. It broadcast a simple message. "Ambassador Taiyang Xin of Earth requests permission to address the Galactic Council." The chamber fell silent when Taiyang walked in. He was flanked by 2 others, Dr. Hana Park and Admiral Sujin Quan. They showed no fear, no uncertainty. They walked to the center of the chamber where High Chancellor Vex stood. "This is highly irregular," Vex said. "You were not invited." "Yet here we are," Taiyang replied pleasantly. "We have been monitoring your debates for the past 4 days. We felt it was time to speak for ourselves rather than let others speak about us." "You have been spying on council proceedings?" Thelvas demanded. "Yes," Taiyang said simply, "just as you have been spying on Earth for 40 years. We learned that from you." Dr. Hannah stepped forward. "We came to make our position clear and to offer a demonstration. Words alone cannot convey what humanity has achieved, so we will show you." She activated a holographic projector. The display showed a star system in detail. This is our solar system. What you see now is not complete. These are only the installations we allow you to see. The display shifted, and suddenly dozens more bases appeared. Mining operations in the asteroid belt, research stations on the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, orbital platforms around Venus, defense stations scattered throughout the system. This is what we built while you thought we were primitive, Hana continued. But technology alone does not make us strong. Let me show you what truly makes humanity dangerous. The display changed to show a laboratory. Scientists of different races, human clearly, work together on complex problems. Humanity's greatest strength is not our weapons. It is our ability to innovate, adapt, and improve. That probe we found 30 years ago had technology more advanced than what we possessed. Within 5 years, we had not just copied it, we had improved upon it. She showed side-by-side comparisons. The alien probe's faster-than-light engine next to the human version. The human design was smaller, more efficient, and faster. We took your zero-point energy collectors and made them produce 3 times more power. We took your quantum computers and increased their processing speed by a factor of 10. We took your weapons and made them stronger. Everything you have, we can improve. That is what humans do. We see a problem and we solve it. We see a limitation and we overcome it. Admiral Sujin took over. But innovation means nothing without the will to use it. Let me be clear about Earth's position. We did not ask to be found. We did not ask to be cataloged. We did not ask to be judged by standards we had no part in creating. When we learned about the galaxy, we made a choice. Hide and prepare or reveal ourselves and be conquered. He looked directly at War Chancellor Drexus. You think you can defeat us. You believe your empire's military might can force us to submit. Let me show you why you are wrong. The display changed to show a weapon test. A human ship fired a beam at an asteroid. The asteroid did not explode or shatter. It simply ceased to exist, its matter breaking down at the atomic level. This is a molecular disintegration beam, Sujin explained. It took us 15 years to develop. We can target anything from a single ship to a planet. The energy required is immense, but we have solved that problem. He showed another recording. This is a quantum virus. It can infect any computer system based on standard galactic architecture. Once inside, it spreads through networks, disabling weapons, life support, navigation, everything. We could release it into your military systems and cripple your entire fleet before they ever reached Earth. The chamber was completely silent now. Every representative watched with growing horror. This is a time dilation field generator, Sujin continued, showing another test. We can speed up or slow down time in a localized area. Your ships would age centuries in seconds while our ships remain unaffected. Your crews would die of old age before they could fire a single shot. He closed the display and looked around the chamber. We have weapons you have never imagined. We have defensive systems you cannot penetrate. We have ships that can appear anywhere in the galaxy without using your jump gates. And we have the absolute determination to use all of it if threatened. Ambassador Tai Yang spoke again. We do not share this information to threaten you. We share it so you understand the choice before you. Earth offers friendship, trade, and cooperation to those who approach us with respect. We offer shared technology that could benefit everyone. Medical advances that could extend lifespans. Energy systems that could power civilizations. Defensive technologies that could protect peaceful species from aggressive empires. But to those who threaten us, Admiral Sujin said coldly, we offer only destruction. War with Earth will not be a conquest. It will be mutual annihilation. We cannot defeat the entire galaxy, but we can make the cost of attacking us so high that victory would be meaningless. Dr. Hana added, and consider this, if we could advance this far in just 30 years, what will we achieve in 50? 100? Are you willing to make an enemy of a species that improves this quickly? Or would it be wiser to make us your ally? High Chancellor Vex found his voice. You speak of friendship while threatening us with terrible weapons. We speak of reality, Taiyang replied. The galaxy respects strength. You proved that when you sent warships instead of diplomats to every new species you found. You proved it with your tiers and classifications and hierarchies. Well, we learned from you. We became strong. Now we demand respect. War Chancellor Drexus stood. Fine words. But I still believe the Etherian Empire can crush you. We have thousands of ships, millions of soldiers, weapons that have conquered dozens of worlds. Then come, Admiral Sujin said quietly. Bring your thousands of ships to Earth, test our defenses. See what happens to your mighty empire when it faces a species that refuses to surrender. We will destroy your fleets. We will cripple your economy. We will make your empire an example of what happens when you underestimate humanity." The chamber erupted again. Some species demanded humanity be given what they asked for. Others insisted on military action. The Etherian armada emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system, like a swarm of metal locusts, 2,300 warships, each one capable of destroying a small moon. War Chancellor Drexus stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Imperial Glory, and smiled with satisfaction. "Scan the system," he ordered. "Locate all human military assets. I want complete tactical information before we advance." His tactical officer worked quickly, then looked up with confusion. "Sir, I am detecting only 100 human vessels. They are taking formation near the fourth planet, Mars. No other military assets detected." Drexus laughed. 100 ships against our 2,000? They are either foolish or suicidal. Open a channel to them." The communication system activated and a human appeared on the main screen. He was young, with a calm expression that showed no fear despite facing impossible odds. "I am Commander Jiho Han of the United Earth Defense Force," the human said. "You have entered sovereign human space with hostile intent. This is your final warning. Turn back now or face destruction." Drexus laughed harder. "You dare threaten me? I command the greatest fleet ever assembled by the Etherian Empire. You have 100 ships. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick." "We gave you a chance," Jiho said quietly. Then the transmission ended. "All ships," Drexus commanded. "Advance formation. Target the human vessels. Fire when in range. I want this over quickly." The Etherian fleet moved forward, their weapons charging. But as they crossed into the inner solar system, something changed. Alarms began sounding across every ship simultaneously. "Sir," the tactical officer reported urgently. "New contacts. Thousands of them. They appeared from nowhere. I cannot get an accurate count. They are everywhere." On the screens, Drexus watched in shock as the asteroid belt came alive. What he had thought were simple rocks suddenly revealed themselves as automated defense platforms. Weapons emerged from hidden installations. Drone fighters poured out of concealed hangars by the tens of thousands. "This is impossible," he whispered. "Our scans showed nothing." "They were cloaked," his science officer said, her voice shaking. "Every asteroid in the belt is a potential weapons platform. Sir, I'm detecting over 50,000 autonomous combat units. And something else. Massive structures near the third planet's moon. They are powering up. On Earth's moon, enormous railguns that had been disguised as crater walls activated. Each one was capable of accelerating projectiles to a significant fraction of light speed. The targeting computers, linked through quantum networks, locked onto the Etherian fleet with perfect precision. Captain Doyen Kim watched from the command center, his expression hard. "Fire the first salvo." The lunar railguns fired. Projectiles screamed through space at incredible velocities. No shields in the galaxy were designed to stop kinetic weapons moving that fast. The first wave of projectiles slammed into the Etherian fleet's lead ships. Shields failed instantly. Hulls crumpled like paper. 15 vessels disintegrated in the first 30 seconds. "Return fire," Drexus screamed. "All ships, fire everything." The Etherian fleet unleashed their weapons. Energy beams and missiles filled space, converging on the human positions. But the 100 human ships simply vanished, phasing out of normal space before the weapons could reach them. They reappeared behind the Etherian formation, already firing. Lieutenant Unibek's Ghost Squadron moved with deadly precision. Each human ship targeted multiple enemy vessels simultaneously, their advanced computers calculating trajectories and weak points faster than any organic mind could process. "Ghost Squadron, activate molecular disintegrators," Una commanded. "Target their capital ships." The human weapons fired. Unlike conventional weapons that destroyed ships through force, these beams simply unmade matter at the atomic level. Wherever the beams touched, ships ceased to exist. No explosions, no debris, just empty space where mighty warships had been moments before. "What is that weapon?" Drexus demanded, watching his ships disappear. "Our sensors cannot even classify it." "Sir, we have lost 200 vessels," his tactical officer reported. "And the automated defenses are tearing through our fighter screens." The asteroid belt had become a killing field. Automated weapons platforms targeted Etherian ships with ruthless efficiency. Drone fighters, small and agile, swarmed larger vessels like insects, finding weak points and exploiting them. And through it all, the human ships phased in and out of reality, Impossible to target, impossible to predict. Dr. Soman Kang, operating from Luna Base, activated the next phase of Earth's defense. Deploying quantum virus now. An invisible weapon spread through space carried on communications frequencies the Etherian fleet was using. It infiltrated their computer systems silently, spreading from ship to ship through their own networks. Within minutes, chaos erupted across the enemy fleet. Navigation systems failed. Weapons targeting went offline. Life support began fluctuating. Ships that had been coordinating perfectly suddenly found themselves unable to communicate with each other. Our systems are compromised, the Imperial Glory's science officer reported desperately. The humans have infected our entire network. I cannot stop it from spreading. Switch to manual controls, Drexus ordered. We are trying, sir, but the virus adapts faster than we can isolate it. It is like nothing we have ever encountered. Admiral Sujin Quan watched the battle from the command ship Soul's Pride. The Etherian fleet was in disarray, but they still had superior numbers. It was time to show them humanity's most devastating weapon. Activate the time dilation field generators, he ordered. Throughout the solar system, hidden installations powered up. They created localized fields of accelerated time around clusters of Etherian ships. Inside these fields, time moved 1,000 times faster than normal space. For the crews trapped inside, years passed in seconds. They aged rapidly, their bodies unable to sustain the sudden passage of time. Ships grew old and fell apart, metal corroding in accelerated entropy. In less than a minute of real time, centuries had passed for those caught in the fields. When the fields collapsed, what emerged were ghost ships filled with ancient skeletons and rusted metal, drifting powerlessly through space. By all the ancestors, Drexus whispered, watching his fleet die in ways he had never imagined. What have we done? You chose war with a species that refused to die, a new voice said. Drexus turned to see that a human had somehow appeared on his bridge. Ambassador Taiyang Xin stood there calmly, surrounded by Etherian guards who seemed uncertain whether to shoot him. How did you get here? Drexus demanded. We can teleport small masses through quantum entanglement, Taiyang explained. It is dangerous and requires enormous energy. But I felt this conversation needed to happen in person. He gestured to the screens showing the dying fleet. Call for retreat, War Chancellor. You have already lost. I have lost nothing, Drexus snarled. We still outnumber you. You have lost over 800 ships in less than an hour. Your computers are infected, your formations are broken, your crews are terrified, and we have not even deployed our planet-based defenses yet. Taiyang's expression became sad. How many more of your people must die before you accept that you cannot win this fight? The Empire does not surrender. Then the Empire will cease to exist. Taiyang pulled up a holographic display showing a weapon platform near Earth. This is our star ignition device. If you continue this attack, we will use it to turn your home sun into a supernova. Your empire, your worlds, billions of your people, all gone. We do not want to do this. But we will if you force us to. Drexus stared at the display, then at the ambassador, then at his screen showing his fleet being systematically destroyed. Pride warred with survival instinct. He had led his empire into a battle he could not win against an enemy he had completely underestimated. I am calling for retreat, he said quietly, his voice broken. A wise decision. Taiyang vanished as mysteriously as he had appeared. Drexus opened the fleet-wide channel. All ships retreat. Jump to emergency coordinates. This battle is over. What remained of the Etherian fleet, less than half of what had arrived, fled the Sol system in disorder. Behind them, the human forces did not pursue. They had made their point. In the command center, Captain Doyen Kim turned to Dr. Hana Park. It is done. They will not threaten us again. No, Hana agreed, but others will watch and learn. The galaxy has seen what we can do. She was right. Throughout the galaxy, the recording of the battle spread. Every species saw how 100 human ships and their automated defenses had devastated a fleet of over 2,000. They saw weapons that defied understanding. They saw technology that exceeded their own by generations. 3 more civilizations formally recognized Earth's sovereignty within days. Several smaller species, ones that had suffered under larger empires, sent secret messages asking for help. The Galactic Council held emergency sessions to discuss the new galactic order. Agent Veltier stood before the council once more. I warned you. I showed you evidence of their capabilities. You chose not to believe. High Chancellor Vex nodded wearily. We let pride blind us to reality. The question now is what happens next. Earth has made their position clear, Velter said. They want trade, diplomatic relations, and cultural exchange with peaceful species.